This is how you can travel to the amazing region of Iraqi Kurdistan. Here's everything you need to know before going. Okay, I've been wanting to make this video now for a very long time, covering Iraqi Kurdistan and everything you need to know before going. I feel like it was just such an impactful experience for me, and I want to give other people an inside scoop on how they can also go over there and experience everything that I got to experience and walk away with a trip of a lifetime. Okay, so when you first sit down to start planning a trip like this one, you're probably gonna be doing a lot of research, looking at a lot of websites, watching YouTube videos, etc. But you're not gonna find a whole lot of information about this region. There really isn't a whole lot out there. And I thought it was a little bit challenging when I went to plan. I had to do a lot of deep diving. So this is why I wanted to make this video, to make it more clear on how you can get over there. So let's start with the number one thing that probably everyone is wondering, and that is it safe to travel here? That's the number one question I get whenever I say I went to Iraqi Kurdistan. They all look at me like I was crazy. I will tell you that it is very, very safe over in that region. I honestly felt more safe over there than I do in the US, and I am not kidding when I say that. I can't stress it enough. I was walking around there with my camera set up, GoPro, phone hanging out, and I had no issues whatsoever. Now, that's not to say that it is completely 100% safe. I would definitely recommend keeping a good awareness at all times. You never know what can happen, but that goes for any place that you would travel to. But I think you will most likely be completely fine. I went over there solo, so I did everything by myself, walking around by myself, and never felt threatened, never felt like I was being taken advantage of. It was kind of a wild experience. It shocked me while I was there, so I can definitely assure you that you will be completely safe. It is one of the safest places that I have ever traveled to. I can't even believe I'm saying that, but it is true. Okay, so how to get there? Obviously, you're probably going to take a flight. I'm not exactly sure the specifics on the flights and whatnot, where they originate. I think a lot of them start from in Turkey, so you can fly from Istanbul. I flew from Antalya, and most all of the flights fly into Erbil, so that's where you're going to begin your trip. Okay, so once you land, it is visa on arrival. I know this can be very confusing on some sites, but basically you'll show up to the visa on arrival booth right before customs, and you'll pay $70 US for the Iraqi Kurdistan region visa. And I believe it lasts for 30 days. You'll take the slip they give you, go to customs, hand that over, and get right through. I had no issues whatsoever. It was a very, very simple process. And then when you head out of the airport, you can choose phone service. I have AT&T. I just went with their plan where you pay per day. I had no problems. I know there are different ways you can do a SIM card, whatnot. I don't really have specific details on that. And then you'll want to grab a taxi. You'll pay about $30 to get to your hotel or wherever you're staying. But I think it's worth it going into the city for the first time. So you'll get a taxi from out there. Very simple process. Tell them where you want to go. They pretty much know everywhere. And the people were very friendly. My driver was awesome. He had a big smile on his face and was happy to take me to my hotel. All right, let's talk about hotels. This was probably the most tricky thing for me, since there are no Airbnbs or hostels in Erbil. So a little bit challenging. Everything is done through booking.com and hotels.com, I believe. So you go on there, plug in your dates, how many people and whatnot, and then a whole bunch of options will pop up. I went for a cheaper option, a little bit outside of the center of the city, but still within walking distance. It is called Hotel Madeira. I'm gonna give them a plug here because the owner, Abu, was so gracious to me. Such a nice guy, friendly guy, very, very helpful, and just so generous with his time. So I'm gonna give them big recommendation, but it was about $25 a night for a single room. So you get a twin bed, your own bathroom. It is small, but it does the job. It was perfect for what I was doing, and about a 15 to 20 minute walk to the Citadel. So great location. Now that's specifically for Erbil, and it's the same for the other cities in Iraqi Kurdistan now. However, when I went to Sulaymaniyah, they have one hostel, and I'm gonna recommend staying in it. It was amazing. One of the best hostels I've ever stayed in. It's called Dolphin Hotel Hostel, but this place was great. About 20 bucks a night, single room. You have your own bathroom. Very, very clean. Very easy process of getting in. The people at the front desk were great as well, and it's right in the middle of the city, which makes it super convenient. Definitely recommend staying at those two places for those two cities. Okay, something super important I want to touch on real quick is the currency. Definitely bring cash when you go. Almost nowhere accepts credit card. Everything is done in cash, and their currency is Iraqi dinar. So what you'll want to do is bring anywhere from $300 to $500 depending on your stay, and then take that money, go to one of these currency exchange booths where they have money in a glass container. They have a number of them alongside the streets there. What I did was hand the guy a $100 bill, and then he gave me the equivalent in Iraqi dinar. No exchange fees, just straight up transfer. And I had no issues in terms of the cash that I was dealt or anything like that. Okay, now that you're settled in, it's time to head out and explore. I'd recommend walking most places. Now, however, taking a taxi there is super easy. You just go to the side of the street, kind of wave down a driver, they'll know that you're looking for one. Tell them where you want to go, and then to get pretty much anywhere in the city, only costs about $3. It's very cheap and a very convenient way to get around. So that's another option, getting around. But I did a lot of walking. That was my predominant way of getting around. You get to see a lot, interact with people. It's just a great thing to do while you're there. So then for Erbil, what do you do? What do you see? Where do you go? I'd recommend a few things, starting with the Citadel. That is the center of the city. You can hike up to this old part of the city. Very cool to see how ancient this place is, but it's a great lookout point, great place to watch the sunset. And then below there is the bazaar. You can wander through there for hours and hours, interacting with the people, trying some awesome food, just a lot to see in there. If you go out of there and a little bit further outside of the city, you have Iskan Street. That's a street with a lot of restaurants, a lot of places where people tend to go hang out. There's a lot of like hookah places there, food, outdoor seating, all of that. Just a lot happening there. So definitely cool to check that out. And then from there are a few parks that you can see. I walked around two of them. I don't know that I would really recommend it. If you're looking to escape all the craziness with the people, definitely go check it out. It is peaceful, great way to escape the crowds. However, I felt like I spent most of my time in the mix of all the action. But I would say my number one thing that I recommend doing is just walking around. I know it sounds probably boring, but it is such a surreal experience getting to interact with these people. They are the most generous, most kind people I've ever come across traveling. I know I've mentioned that in the previous videos that I did and all over my Instagram, but I can't stress it enough. Can't even tell you how many times I walked down the street. Everyone wanted to take a picture with me. Everyone wanted to find my Instagram. They wanted to give me their numbers. Like, it was crazy. Just an amazing reception that I received going there. These people are so nice, so kind. They're willing to help. I don't have enough good words to say about it. So I'd say just walking around, you're gonna find that it is just an awesome experience. But this allows you to interact with those people. Some people will speak English. Most of it is actually Kurdish, which I struggled picking up on, but you can get by just fine speaking English for the most part. But yeah, walking around, interacting with those people, trying the food. There's so much incredible street food, kebabs. So I know it sounds boring, but I'm telling you, it's not at all. Just walk around and you will be blown away by this place. Okay, so next thing up that I did was travel from Erbil to Sulaymaniyah. This can be a very confusing process It's very hard to get a feel for it online for the YouTube videos. But essentially what you'll do is wherever you're staying, you'll take a taxi to the shared taxi station. I don't even know the name of it. My hotel owner, Abu, he actually was generous enough to take me to this station. But I would imagine that it's pretty easy to find if you just tell the driver you're looking for the taxi station. So you head there, and then you'll want to find the taxi to Sulaymaniyah. But very, very important, you cannot go through Kirkuk. That is a city controlled by actual Iraq and not Iraqi Kurdistan. It's a different visa, and if you show up at a checkpoint with the wrong visa, it can present a lot of different problems. So definitely can't stress that enough. Just make sure you find the taxi that does not go through Kirkuk. So what I would say is just tell the driver no Kirkuk, and they will understand. But then the shared taxi is basically like a small car, 4 passengers with the driver. You pay about $10 to $15 to go on a 3-hour adventure across Iraqi Kurdistan. And the views were amazing, so much beautiful scenery, and just an awesome experience. Now the checkpoints can be a little daunting. I think I went through 5 different checkpoints. And you have to hand over your passport to the guards. Everyone was super nice about it. They just wanted to see everyone's identification, and only one checkpoint I had to get out of the car, go into the building. They ran a quick check on my passport, and I was good to go. So no issues. You should have no trouble getting from Erbil to Sulaymaniyah. Once you get to Sulaymaniyah, they'll drop you off a little bit outside of the city, and then at another shared taxi station, and then from there you'll take a taxi to get into the main part of the city or wherever you're staying. So I took it to the Dolphin Hostel. So you'll arrive in Sulaymaniyah, and then you're presented with a whole bunch of different things you can do. Again, I would recommend, again, just walking around, a lot to see, great big bazaars, markets. The outdoor market there was quite the experience, so much going on, live animals, you can see people butchering the meats, kids running around. It was crazy, just an awesome experience there. I know too there's a lot of cool museums in Sulaymaniyah. I did not check any of them out, but definitely look into that. There's a lot of great history in that city. One thing I wish I had more time to do was go up to the mountain that sits just outside the city. You can't miss it. And watch a sunset there. If you have more time, I definitely recommend going and doing that. I wish I would have been able to, just didn't have enough time while I was there. But it's pretty much the same ordeal as Erbil, walking around, trying the food, interacting with people. There's a lot of history there and just a lot of places that you can go and check out. So very, very cool city. And then in terms from getting from Sulaymaniyah back to Erbil, same process. You'll take a taxi to the shared taxi station, make sure they go to Erbil, and then just say no Kirkuk, can't go through Kirkuk, and you should have no issues getting back to Erbil from Sulaymaniyah. Now, one thing I did want to mention is there are a lot of other cities in Iraqi Kurdistan. You don't have to just go to Erbil or Sulaymaniyah. I wasn't there for a ton of time, so that was all that I could cover. But you can actually go further north to cities like Dohuk, Rwanda's, IRAQI. There's a lot of different places that you can go explore, and I've heard nothing but good things on all those places too. You can actually get up into the mountains in some places, and it's apparently beautiful. So if you have more time, definitely check that out. I would assume it's the same in terms of transportation with the shared taxis getting from place to place. Maybe try and research that a little bit since I didn't go there. But yeah, definitely, it's definitely not just Erbil or Sulaymaniyah. There's a lot to Iraqi Kurdistan. And hopefully in the future, I can go back and explore some of those areas. So that's pretty much everything that I wanted to cover. I know there's a lot in there. If you have any questions whatsoever, please drop a comment. I will do my best to get to all of them and try and help you out as best as I can. But thank you guys for watching. Hopefully this was super helpful and able to clear some things up for you. This trip definitely, without a doubt, changed my life, and I have nothing but outstanding reviews and great things to say about it. It is truly probably the best place that I have ever traveled to. So I obviously can't recommend it enough. So I hope that you guys can experience this someday. And maybe this video will encourage you to get on that flight and go to Iraqi Kurdistan. You will definitely not regret it. So yeah, thanks as always for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video very soon. So stay tuned.